What's up, folks? I'm Walter Benasiak, and it's time for another 90s edition of Top 5. You've seen me count down the top 5 best and worst Mighty Morphin Power Ranger episodes, the top 5 best 90s Cartoon Network shows, the top 5 best 90s Nicktoons, and today we're keeping it orange for the top 5 best...
Rob, I hear you're still perpetuating 90s propaganda. I'm here to stop you.
You can try. Welcome to the jam.
These are the top 5 best 90s Nickelodeon shows.
If you had cable in the 90s, Nickelodeon was a one-stop destination for endless hours of kids' entertainment.
Besides those classic animated Nicktoons, Nickelodeon had plenty of live-action programs that have stuck with us 90s kids to this day.
I want to say right off the bat that we're not counting the awesome game shows that Nick had out during that era. They deserve and are getting their own list in the near future.
Whether scaring us, making us laugh, or occasionally teaching us a very important life lesson, this channel had it all for children of the 90s. What made these shows stick out were how unique and sometimes straight up weird they were. However, Nickelodeon taught us to embrace that weirdness. It was a special take on kids programming that made a ton of these shows very memorable. And today we're counting down the very best ones.
Nickelodeon!
Number 5. Melissa Joan Hart was a teen idol in the 90s, and while most people know her as Sabrina the Teenage Witch, it all started here with her explaining it all as Clarissa Marie Darling. Clarissa lives with her parents and brother Ferguson while trying to navigate life as a teenage girl. She always directly addresses the audience to describe what's happening in each episode and usually dresses in a style all her own. Without its star, Clarissa Explains It All probably wouldn't have been as successful as it was. It was the perfect marriage of tone and Hart herself. Her charisma and relatability transcended just one gender. Both girls and boys were fans of the show during and after its run. We all know Clarissa's brother Ferguson was her main adversary on the show. If you grew up with siblings at one point or another, you probably thought they acted a little like Ferguson.
Get with it, Dad. This is the 90s.
Her best friend Sam was always reliable, if for nothing else, at least for that music cue that played whenever he showed up at Clarissa's.
Hi, Sam. Hey, Clarissa.
Clarissa was a fun and original character. She did her own thing, and the kids who grew up watching loved her for it. My favorite thing about the show, though, gotta be the theme song. I wonder.
Number 4.
Fresh out the box. Stop, look and watch. Ready yet? Get set. It's all that.
This was a trademark Nickelodeon show. They didn't call it the 90s or All That for nothing. All That was pretty much Saturday Night Live for kids. Every episode would feature a set of mostly reoccurring sketches with characters as zany as the time period they were made in. One of the main bits was even turned into a movie. You remember that one, don't you?
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
In a lot of ways, this was the cornerstone of 90s Nickelodeon. It created stars like Kenan, Kel, and Amanda Bynes, while also creating characters that are as memorable as anything on the network at the time. Who doesn't remember Coach Cretin?
What goes up must come down.
Super Dude.
That's right, I'm Super Dude, the teenage superhero with powers far beyond those of idiots like this guy with a plunger on his face.
Lori Beth Denberg with...
Vital information for your everyday life.
It's rude to talk with your mouth full. It's even ruder to blow your nose in your sister's pants.
Repair! And even... My ears aren't even that big.
Number 3. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. Yep, this show scared the crap out of an entire generation.
Even you. Don't deny it.
Are You Afraid of the Dark revolved around a group of teenagers called the Midnight Society, who every week would meet up in the middle of the woods and exchange scary stories. As the audience, we would be able to see these stories play out while they were told on the show. Every week was a new spooky tale, and the only thing to carry over was the Midnight Society themselves. This show definitely pushed some limits back in the day, and a portion of these episodes are still pretty creepy. The mood was always set perfectly with that chilling intro. Of course, this show always gets compared to Goosebumps. Debates with your friends about the scarier show could rage on for days. There are too many great episodes to mention here, but does anyone remember the Faceless Aliens episode? Because my nightmares still do.
What you talking about? Is this a joke or what?
See you in 10 years.
Tamara?
Hi!
Number 2.
It's mighty strange. You looking happily deranged.
The Adventures of Pete and Pete was a strange show, but I wouldn't have had it any other way. This show followed two brothers, both named Pete, and their exploits in their hometown. Big Pete is the narrator of the show and often a more normal character compared to the eccentric people and situations that surround him. Little Pete is just about as rebellious as they come. In addition to frequently defying the authority figures he comes in contact with, he has a tattoo on his arm named Petunia and an adult friend named Artie, who is the self-proclaimed
strongest man in the world.
You may recognize Big Pete, Mike Morona, from Home Alone, and Little Pete, Danny Tamborelli, from All That and Figure It Out. He became a staple of the network after the show. Pete and Pete still has a very strong cult following. It's ranked on many lists as one of the best written kids shows ever, while its two stars are close to this day and even host a podcast together called The Adventures of Danny and Mike. The band who played the theme song, Polaris, was in Chicago a couple years ago, and wouldn't you know it, Danny and Mike were at the concert. They recorded an episode of their podcast before the show, and Danny even went on stage to jam out to Pete and Pete's theme. The point of all that being, this show really resonated with the kids who grew up with it. As an adult, it's still as watchable as ever, with new things to pick up on. I'd encourage you to go back and watch a few episodes. On a network filled with unique programs at the time, this one stood out.
That's a dog bite. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's a dog bite. Yes, indeed.
Nickelodeon was in no short supply of great shows in the 90s, so before we get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions.
And the number one best 90s Nickelodeon show is...
Oh, here it goes.
All right, look. When I was rewatching these old shows and I saw how well Are You for the Dark held up and how good Pete and Pete still was, I thought to myself, there's no way that my old favorite Kenan and Kel can still be number 1. But then I watched an old episode and it wins. Kenan and Kel wins. I can't fight my heart, man. I can't do it. I dropped the screw in the tuna.
Kenan and Kel was a sitcom starring All That cast members Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell. It followed their misadventures in Chicago as the pair of best friends went to high school and got involved in all types of hijinks. Kenan was the schemer and straight man of the duo, while Kel was his wacky comedic foil, who also loved orange soda.
Who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. Is it true? Is it true? Oh yes, it's true. Ooh.
Kenan and Kel worked so well together that their names are still intertwined with each other, 17 years after the show ended. With Kenan continuing his sketch comedy on Saturday Night Live, it's good to still see an icon of the 90s doing such big things.
Kel has popped back up in recent years on the network that gave him his start. Last year, some of the original cast of All That reunited for a Q&A and to discuss the show, which included both Kenan and Kel.
What's the one question you're asked most often?
I get where's Kel. Yeah, most definitely. I get where's Kel.
Absolutely. Where's your buddy
100%.
at?
That's the question everybody got.
Where's Kel?
Where's Kel?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right here. He's here.
We'll always love this show for its crazy plot lines and slapstick humor. Kenan and Kel still give me a good laugh to this day. Nickelodeon will remain in our 90s hearts forever. These shows shaped how a lot of us viewed the world early on and reflected authentic experiences back at us, even if they were through a funhouse mirror sometimes. Make sure to be on the lookout for the top 5 best 90s Nickelodeon game shows coming later this year.
We want to hear what you guys think.
What is your favorite 90s Nickelodeon show?
Leave a comment down below and let us know. You can follow me on Twitter at Tamara L. Chambers.
For more content, subscribe to my personal channel, youtube.com/AwesomeWalter. Also like my new Facebook page, facebook.com/AwesomeWalterB, and follow me on Twitter to take part in more polls about what may be covered in the future. That reminds me, Tamara, grab a fire extinguisher, a pencil sharpener, a triceratops skull, and some elephant urine, and meet me at Doug's house at midnight.
What? Walter, what's the pencil sharpener for? Walter! Walter! Oh, here he goes.